She saw dinosaurs. Her earliest memory, vivid and timeless, was of a huge gray shape, bigger than the house they lived in, that walked for a time beside her carriage as her mother had strolled her one sunny summer day through the city park. As she grew older, the shapes resolved into an array of creatures, beautiful and fantastic, gray and orange, purple and green, and she learned to watch for them from roof or porch or through window. And as she grew older, though still very young, she also learned that others could not see the things she could see, that they had no awareness of the great beasts that move above and around them. She learned while very young to keep her gift, such as it was, to herself. Even so, she saw dinosaurs. Where other children saw colorful, multiform kites sailing on the wind, she saw great anvil-headed pterodons, spread wings translucent against the backdrop of the sun. On the playground where her classmates romped upon a domed set of monkey bars, she viewed a stolid ankylosaur, methodically, mindlessly chewing its cud. As she grew older, on the highway, where others saw cars and SUVs and 18-wheeled trucks and trailers, she saw herds of hadrosaurs and triceratops and long-necked, longer-tailed apatosaurs. A trip to the seashore after graduation and the palm trees swishing in the ocean breeze became the gracefully languorous necks of a herd of diplodocus, swaying to some ancient eternal rhythm. When others on the beach shouted and pointed at a pod of dolphins in the surf, she did the same at the long-beaked, lambent-eyed ichthyosaurs she saw passing. Her visions weren't always pleasant. She remembered looking away from the tyrannosaur she'd once seen stalking down Fletcher Avenue, its car-sized skull all jaws and menace, or being unpleasantly startled at the great plesiosaur head, flat and mottled with rows of crisp white incurving teeth that had popped up out of the water beside her one evening while she walked across St. Albans Bridge. She sometimes wondered if she was actually seeing back across time or into a different world entirely, one where the bizarre, massive creatures she passed among every day lived on. Either way, she saw dinosaurs. She grew older still, and just the same as those who don't see dinosaurs, she had to work to support herself. One evening, after having worked over, as she stood alone on the platform waiting for the last train, she saw a motion in the tunnel to her left. As she watched, a trio of dinosaurs like none she'd ever seen before emerged from the darkness of the tunnel and began moving along the tracks in her direction. They stood almost as tall as she did, though they would have been substantially taller had they walked fully erect. They moved with their lean bodies thrust forward, long tails stretched behind them on two thickly muscled legs, each splayed foot bearing a huge sickle-like claw. Their heads were large for their body size, with proportionally large jaws and teeth. She didn't like the predatory look of these new beasts, nor did she like the glint of malicious intelligence she thought she could detect in their huge cat-pupiled eyes. They made her uncomfortable in a way none of the many other dinosaurs she had seen across her lifetime had. Her discomfort began to verge on alarm when the leader of the three hopped up on the platform and began moving purposefully down its length. As the two trailing dinosaurs leapt in turn up from the tracks and fanned out to the right and left of the leading beast, she took a small step back. When her body was found, torn beyond all recognition, there was much speculation, both awed and morbid, over what had happened to her. It looked as though she'd somehow fallen beneath the wheels of a passing train, perhaps even been dragged some distance, so mangled were her remains. But she was found up on the platform, not down on the track, and no one was ever able to satisfactorily conclude how she met her lonely death. Though the explanation was in truth quite simple. All her life she'd seen dinosaurs. Finally, at the end, dinosaurs saw her.
always look on the bright side of life.